Desi Arnaz kept this hidden throughout the filming of I Love Lucy. We all know the classic sitcom I Love Lucy. The show ran for 6 seasons and is still popular today, almost 70 years after it first aired. But there are some dirty secrets about the show that its producers would rather you didn't know. Number 1. The show was almost canceled after the first season. I Love Lucy is one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time, but it almost didn't make it past the first season. The show struggled in the ratings during its first year on the air, and CBS was ready to cancel it. Lucille Ball, who played the character Lucy Ricardo, pleaded with the network to give the show one more chance. Luckily, CBS listened to her and renewed the show for a second season. The rest, as they say, is history. I Love Lucy went on to become one of the most popular television programs of all time, cementing its place in pop culture history. Number 2. Some of Lucille Ball's pregnancy was written into the show. Lucille Ball's pregnancy was written into the show because she became pregnant with her son Desi Arnaz Jr. The producers decided to hide Ball behind large props such as refrigerators and pianos and shoot her from behind. This helped keep the pregnancy a secret until the baby was born. After the baby was born, they wrote him into the show as well. The show continued to be successful after Lucille Ball's pregnancy was written into it, and it's still considered one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Number 3. Vivian Vance reportedly hated working with Lucille Ball. We all love classic sitcoms like I Love Lucy, but did you know that the actress who played Lucy and Ethel didn't always get along? According to rumors, Vivian Vance hated working with Lucille Ball. She found Ball to be bossy and difficult to work with. The feeling was apparently mutual. Ball once said that Vance was an expert at getting under my skin. It's interesting to think about how this tension may have contributed to the great chemistry between Lucy and Ethel on screen. Even though they didn't always get along in real life, their friendship was undeniable on television. Thanks for giving us one of the greatest TV friendships of all times, ladies. Number 4. The set of Ricky's nightclub was actually a real nightclub in Hollywood. The set for Ricky's nightclub, where Lucy often performed, was based on a real nightclub in Hollywood called Slapsy Maxie's. The club was owned by gangster Mickey Cohen and frequented by celebrities such as Frank Sinatra and Marilyn Monroe. It was known for its intimate atmosphere and lively shows, both of which were captured on set of Ricky's club. In addition to being a popular night spot, Slapsy Maxie's also had a reputation for being involved in nefarious activities. Cohen was notorious for his involvement in organized crime, and the club was allegedly used as a front for illegal gambling and prostitution. Regardless of its dubious past, Slapsy Maxie's remains an iconic part of Hollywood history. Number 5. I Love Lucy was the first TV show to be shot on film instead of videotape. I Love Lucy was a game changer in a lot of ways, one of which was being the first show to ditch videotape in favor of film. This allowed for syndication and reruns down the road, so even though the show wrapped up over 60 years ago, we're still able to enjoy it today. Lucy and Ricky's antics are just as funny now as they ever were, and that's thanks in part to this decision to switch to film. It may seem like a small change, but it had a big impact on how we consume media. Number 6. The show was almost called the Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Show. When the iconic television show I Love Lucy was first being developed, the working title for the show was actually the Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Show. However, the network thought it was too much of a mouthful and asked the creators to come up with something shorter. They eventually settled on I Love Lucy, and the rest is history. The show went on to become one of the most popular sitcoms of all time, and its leading lady, Lucille Ball, became a household name. It's hard to imagine the show being called anything else. Number 7. The original pilot episode was never aired. The original pilot episode for I Love Lucy was never aired on television. In the pilot, Lucy and Ricky Ricardo were not yet married, and their best friends were different people. The network thought the plot wasn't good enough, so they had the entire cast and crew redo it. The second pilot episode is the one that eventually aired, and it's the one that fans remember today. The original pilot episode has been lost over time, but it's still interesting to think about how different the show could have been. Who knows, maybe someday the lost pilot will be found and we'll get to see it. Number 8. Lucy and Desi were not the first choice for their respective roles. It's hard to imagine anyone other than Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz playing the iconic roles of Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, on the classic TV show I Love Lucy. However, they weren't the first choice for the parts. Producers originally wanted Betty Grable to play Lucy and Cary Grant to play Ricky, but both Grable and Grant turned down the roles, so Lucy and Desi got the parts instead. It's interesting to think about how different the show might have been with different actors in the lead roles. Would it have been successful? We'll never know for sure, but one thing is certain: I Love Lucy is one of the most beloved TV shows of all time. And a big part of its appeal is due to the chemistry between Lucy and Ricky, which can be largely attributed to the real-life marital chemistry between Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Number 9. Vivian Vance nearly quit the show. As any fan of I Love Lucy knows, Vivian Vance played Ethel Mertz, the best friend and next-door neighbor of Lucy Ricardo. Vance was a talented actress and comedian, and she quickly became a fan favorite. However, Vance nearly quit the show after she learned that she was being paid less than her co-star, William Frawley. Fortunately, she was able to negotiate a raise, and she stayed on the show until the end in 1957. Today, Vance is remembered as one of the great sitcom stars of her generation. Thanks to her talent and sense of humor, she helped to make I Love Lucy one of the most beloved shows in television history. Number 10. The iconic I Love Lucy theme song almost didn't make it into the show. The now iconic I Love Lucy theme song almost didn't make it into the show. The song's composer, Elliot Daniel, originally wrote it as an instrumental piece. However, after hearing Daniel's wife sing the lyrics he'd written for it, he decided to add them into the song. The original lyrics were simply "I love Lucy and she loves me, we're as happy as two can be." However, these were revised to "I love Lucy and she loves me, we got married yesterday." The new lyrics better reflected the plot of the show, which follows newlyweds Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. The revised lyrics also gave the theme song a more upbeat and positive tone, which helped to set the tone for the entire show. Thanks to Daniel's wife, the I Love Lucy theme song has become one of the most well-known and beloved TV themes of all time. Number 11. Some episodes were filmed in front of a live studio audience, while others were not. Some episodes of I Love Lucy were filmed without a live studio audience in order to save money. In those episodes, a laugh track was used instead. However, many fans prefer the episodes that were filmed in front of a live audience because they find them more authentic and realistic. The laugh track can be distracting and intrusive. It's often difficult to tell when the laugh track is supposed to be playing. Furthermore, the live audience provides an energy that can be contagious, making the show more fun to watch. Ultimately, it's up to the viewer to decide which type of episode they prefer. Number 12. Ethel Mertz was supposed to be a temporary character. Ethel Mertz was only supposed to be a temporary character on I Love Lucy. She was only meant to appear in a few episodes to help Lucy Ricardo get settled into her new life in New York City. However, viewers loved Ethel so much that she ended up becoming a regular character on the show. Executive producer Jess Oppenheimer later said that Ethel was originally supposed to be a foil and nothing more, but that Vivian Vance's unexpectedly rich performance gave the character more essential to the show. Vance herself said that she never expected to have such a long-lasting role on the series. It just goes to show that sometimes the best-laid plans can change in an instant, and sometimes those changes can be for the better. Number 13. Some episodes were based on real events from Lucille Ball's life. Many of the plots from I Love Lucy episodes were based on real events from Lucille Ball's life. For example, one episode is based on the time when Ball accidentally got drunk while pregnant with her first child. In another episode, Ball's character is trying to lose weight so she can fit into her husband's tuxedo. This was based on a time when Ball was actually trying to lose weight. The show was often able to take real-life situations and turn them into comedic gold. This was one of the things that made I Love Lucy so successful. People could relate to the situations that the characters found themselves in because they were based on real-life events. 14. Desi Arnaz kept this hidden throughout the filming of I Love Lucy. The show I Love Lucy is legendary and starred real-life couple Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. On camera, the couple was portrayed as having a happy and loving relationship. Ball and Arnaz were married for 20 years and started the production company Desi Lou. However, off-camera was a different story, and their real marriage was far from perfect. Two of the main problems in Ball and Arnaz's marriage was Arnaz's drinking and womanizing. Jim Bacon, a Hollywood reporter for the Associated Press, told People that where Desi got drunk, he was wild. He just wouldn't call in one sex worker, he'd call in 18. Ball was well aware of Arnaz's affairs. She once told a Look magazine interviewer, "I like to play games too." Arnaz would deny cheating on her, but there was little effort put into his denials. Arnaz also once stated that he loved ball, and since the women he went out with were hookers, it didn't count as cheating. Some of Arnaz's womanizing ways calmed down when daughter Lucy was born. However, it didn't last long. Ball and Arnaz divorced in 1960 and went on to marry other people. However, they never stopped loving each other and remained friends. Conclusion: if you're a die-hard fan or if you've never seen an episode, there's no denying that I Love Lucy is an iconic TV show. It's been loved by audiences for generations and continues to be popular today. And while we all think we know everything there is to know about this classic sitcom, it turns out that there are some dirty secrets that its producers would rather we didn't know.